All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on music itself. We're going to demystify the fundamental building blocks that make a song really hit you right in the heart. We're basically going to learn how to decode the language of sound. I mean, think about it. Have you ever put on a song and just felt it in your bones? Or had a tune get completely stuck in your head for days on end? What is actually going on there that makes it so powerful, so memorable? Well, it's not some kind of unknowable magic. It's a language. And just like any language, it has a grammar, a structure. And today, we're going to break that grammar down into its three essential pieces: rhythm, melody, and harmony. Okay, let's start with the big one. The most fundamental element of all, the thing that gets your foot tapping before you even realize what's happening. Let's talk about the heartbeat of music: rhythm. That word, primal, is so on the money. Rhythm connects directly with our own bodies. Our heartbeat, the way we breathe, it's this deep, instinctive thing that just bypasses our conscious thought. It's exactly why a simple beat can get thousands of people in a stadium stopping their feet in perfect unison. So it all starts with the beat. A great way to think of it is like the grid paper of music. It's that steady, underlying pulse, that throb, that provides a stable foundation for everything else you're about to hear. And on top of that grid, you've got tempo, which is really just the speed of that beat. Is it a slow 60 beats per minute ballad that feels super calm and emotional? Or is it a frantic 180 BPM punk rock anthem? The tempo basically sets the entire energy level for the whole track. And then things get organized. That's meter. It's how we group those beats into repeating patterns. The most common one you'll hear is 4/4 time. You can feel it as 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like a march. Or you might get 3/4 time, which gives you that classic 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 waltz feel. Meter is what gives a song its distinct rhythmic personality. Now, to make things really interesting, musicians play notes of different lengths. And you can think of it like this rhythm tree. At the very top, you have one long whole note. Now, that one note takes up the same amount of time as 2 half notes, which takes up the same time as 4 quarter notes, and so on. It's this really simple, elegant system of just dividing time. Okay, but where does the groove come from? The part that has the soul? It's all about where you put the emphasis. In most of the music we listen to, the magic is in the backbeat. That's when you accent the supposedly weak beats, 2 and 4. That's that powerful snap of the snare drum. And then there's syncopation, which is the really fun part. That's when you put the emphasis on the notes in between the main beats. It's the rhythmic surprise that makes you want to move. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's put all these ideas together with maybe the most perfect, larger-than-life example there is: Queen's stadium anthem, "We Will Rock You." That stomp, stomp, clap, it's just pure rhythmic genius. It feels primal because, well, it is. By using stomps and claps instead of drums, Queen turns every single person listening into a performer. It creates this massive, instantly unifying sound. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, first, that pattern has a rest in it. Stomp, stomp, clap, pause. That silence is crucial. It creates power and space. But the real masterstroke is something called phrasal deceleration. The verses are super fast and packed with words, right? But when that chorus hits, "we will rock you," the whole rhythm of the vocal line just slows right down, giving the phrase this incredible, undeniable weight. All right, so we've got the heartbeat of the music down. Now let's move on to its voice, the part that actually tells the story. Let's talk about melody. The melody is, simply put, the tune. It's the part you find yourself singing in the shower. It's a sequence of notes that carries the song's identity, its emotional core. If rhythm is the pacing of the story, then the melody is the main character. So melodies tend to move in one of two ways. You have conjunct motion, which is all smooth, using these small, easy steps from one note to the next. This is a huge reason why some melodies are so catchy. They're easy for our brains to process and our voices to follow. Then you've got disjunct motion, which uses big, dramatic leaps. This creates excitement, tension, and a more angular sound. Now, for a masterclass in unforgettable melodic writing, we have to look at arguably one of the most famous melodies of all time, the Beatles' "Yesterday." People call it one of the most perfectly crafted melodies ever written. But why? What makes this seemingly simple little tune so powerful, so timeless? It really is all in the details.
Okay, let's look at the blueprint. First, it's almost all smooth, conjunct motion, which makes it incredibly easy to sing along to. Second, each line has this beautiful arch shape. It rises up and then gently falls, which perfectly mirrors that feeling of longing in the lyrics. And finally, there's this subtle touch of genius. The verse is 7 measures long, not the usual 8. That slight asymmetry is what keeps it from ever sounding predictable. It's just brilliant.
So we have the beat and we have the tune. Now for the final piece of this puzzle, the element that gives music its color, its depth, its whole emotional landscape. Let's explore harmony. Harmony is what provides the emotional color, mostly through chords. And the simplest way to think about it is this. Major chords, they sound bright, happy, stable, like a sunny day. Minor chords, they sound more somber, sad, maybe a little serious, like a cloudy day. It is the most fundamental emotional tool in all of music. But get ready for this. What if I told you that a massive number of the most famous pop songs from the last 50 years are all built on the exact same foundation, on just 4 simple chords? And here's why it works so well. This specific chord progression tells a perfect little story every time it loops. It starts at home with the 1 chord. It feels settled. Then it moves to conflict, building tension. Then it drops to a moment of sad reflection with the minor chord, before offering this hopeful return that leads you right back to the beginning. It's an incredibly satisfying emotional journey for our ears. And just look at this list. I mean, it's wild. From Journey's Don't Stop Believing to the Beatles' Let It Be, to Jason Mraz, Taylor Swift, U2, different decades, totally different genres, all using the exact same emotional blueprint. I promise you, once you learn to hear this progression, you will start noticing it absolutely everywhere. So you see, the language of music isn't magic. It's this brilliant architecture of rhythm, melody, and harmony working together. So the next time you press play, listen for it. Listen for that architecture. Now that you know the blueprint, what new things are you going to hear in your favorite song?